the Wei Yi's Immortal. This was a game between Wei Yi and Bruzon Batista Lazaro in Danzo 2015. It started off with e4, c5, knight to f3, e6, knight c3. So this looks like the closed Sicilian, but after a6, bishop e2, knight c6, white played d4, transposing it into the open Sicilian Scheveningen. cd4, knight takes d4, queen c7, castle, knight to f6, bishop to e3, bishop to e7, f4. This is all common theory and line. f4, d6, king h1, castle, and queen e1. A nice idea, just wanting to bring the queen to g3 and start attacking. White's idea is to attack on the king side, while black's idea is to open up the center with d5 and b5 and play on the queen side and then the center. So here black tried knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, b5, queen g3. So continuing with the idea, now this queen and bishop is pressing on this g7 square. Bishop to b7, attacking e4, a3. Now, of course, if bishop takes e4, then knight takes e4, and knight takes e4 is not possible because of queen takes g7, checkmate. On the other hand, if like knight takes e4 straight away, well then queen takes g7 again will be checkmate. So a3, stopping any ideas of b4, because if black is able to play b4, let's say white plays rook e1, now b4 will come. Knight has to move to somewhere like a4, and now bishop takes e4 is possible, and this will be good for black as he just won a pawn, and there is no piece to take on e4. So that's why a3, rook d8, rook a e1, rook d7, bishop to d3, and here Bruzon played queen to d8, which looks a slightly odd move to me, as the queen is better placed on c7 than on d8. Instead, I think that he should have played a move like rook e8, just developing the rook, and next move d5 may come as well. So, but queen to d8 happened, and here Wei Yi played a very nice move. So it's white to play your move. How should he continue? Pause the video if you need to. Here, queen to h3. What is the idea? Well, he wants to do a rook lift like rook f3 and rook g3, because if the queen was on g3, then there is no point of rook f3, as the rook on f3 won't be doing anything right now, as it can't come to g3 as the queen is already there. So queen h3, making way for the rook, and also indirectly attacking this h7 pawn, as now a simple move like a5 or something, any move, will not work like some because of e5. And these type of ideas are coming, as this knight cannot move away from this h7 square. So certainly a very nice move, queen to h3. Here, if h6 was tried, rook e3, king to h8, rook g3, and as you can see this rook lift, rook g8, and knight to e2. And slowly, white will bring all his pieces into the king side and start attacking. And this is a very good position in general for white. If something like knight to e8, well then again rook e3, this rook lift comes up. So in the game was tried g6, so just blocking this bishop, and f5, quickly breaking through in the center so that he can open up the king side and open the lines up. Black played e5, a good move, blocking it, because if he opens the king side, his king will be very exposed to white's attack. So bishop to e3, rook to e8, which is an okay move. Here, d5, e5, knight takes d5, Knight takes d5, rook takes d5. And now white has this move, bishop to e4, attacking the rook. Rook has to come back to d7. Now bishop takes, rook takes, f6. If bishop moves somewhere else, then queen h6 would come and queen g7, so he has to take, and queen to f3. And white has a double attack, and one of the pieces is gonna go. Here, if bishop takes d5, same consequence, f6. Bishop takes f6, and now rook takes f6. Queen takes f6, and queen takes g7. So as you can see, black cannot really open the position in the king side, and he has to wait. Though rook e8 was a bad move because this rook is needed in the support of this f7 pawn, and which may be helped like f6 and rook f7, and that would stabilize his king side position. But so that therefore something like king h8 was a better move, where after rook f3, rook g8, bishop g5, gf5, rook takes f5, and even though white does have the better position, black has more chances to draw the game. But here, rook e8 was tried. And now, simply fg6. And hg6 was played because if f takes g6, then some nasty threats like queen e6 check could come, where this now e6 is a big hole for white to get in. So that's why h takes g6. And now another question to you. White to play and find the winning combination to win the game. You may be thinking, win the game? But actually, after this continuation, black is almost helpless. And even though the engines may say it's equal, but in a real game, no human can find the draw and defense. So white to play, pause the video as I would recommend you to do so, and find the winning combination to win the game. Here, knight to d5. Why? Well, because we have to first eliminate one of the defenders of the king, as black has three pieces defending on the king side, defending the king right now, and there's two pawns. So if we are able to eliminate one of them, then that would only mean there's two left. And this knight on c3 was not really doing anything in the attack. So all in all, you just remove one defender for nothing. So that's why knight to d5. Here, if bishop takes d5, then simply e d5. Knight takes d5, and now white has bishop takes g6. Simply opening up the position, and after f takes g6, here he has queen e6 check, king h8, and he has like rook f3, rook h3. He can take this knight, and all in all, this is a very good position for white because of this bad position of the king. Like after queen 6 d5, these pieces are not really doing anything. Those black pieces not helping in anywhere. Everything is blocked and they're boxed in a square. So that is certainly not good. So knight d5, we have already ruled out bishop takes d5. And after knight takes d5, again, pause the video. How should white continue? Find the winning plan, not just one move. Here, not even taking on d5. If he said that, well, that's human-like, but Wei Yi played a very nice move. Rook takes f7. Now, even if Wei Yi didn't calculate till the end, he would have already seen that, okay, white will at least get a draw after rook takes f7, so he still played it straight away. And after king takes f7, queen h7 check. But just to note, after rook takes f7, something like knight f6, trying to defend this queen h7 idea can be met by queen e6. And now the king is in big trouble, as now rook takes f6 check, rook takes e7 check, everything is threatened. King h8, well, bishop to g5. This knight is in a very poor state. And if the knight moves somewhere, like knight to h5, well, simply queen takes g6 and queen h7 cannot be stopped. So black has to accept the sacrifice, and queen h7 check, king e6, and now e takes d5 check, king takes d5, and again your move. How should white continue? You should first look at what black's plan is and how he wants to make the defense, and we have to try to stop it. So white to play, and how should he continue? Pause the video if you need to. Here, well, we have to stop the black king from getting to c7, as if it gets to c7 and b8, white will be a complete rook down. So what should we play? Bishop to e4, sacrifice another piece. King takes e4 is necessary, as king e6 can be met by queen takes g6 checkmate, and king c4 can be met by queen f7 and queen takes d5 checkmate, and here even queen f1 checkmate is there. Anything works. Bishop takes e4, so king takes e4 is forced, and now another move, very nice move, queen to f7. Why? Because we have to get the black king in a mating net. So now the black king cannot come to d5 because this queen is there, cannot come to the f file as this queen controls all these squares, cannot come to d4 because of this bishop, and of course cannot come to here because of this pawn. So the king is in mating net, and one check and this king will be in big trouble. So bishop f6 was tried, as any other move like rook f8 would be met by bishop to b6, checkmate, or well, bishop c5, bishop f2. Any move along this diagonal is checkmate. And here, so that's why bishop f6, so that this king has this square of f5 to go to. Well, now bishop to d2 check, king d4, bishop e3, king e4, just gaining some time. And now finally queen b3. What's the idea? Idea again, queen d3 checkmate. All moves with a threat to play something. King to f5, rook f1 check. King g4, queen d3. Idea to play queen d1 check or queen takes g6. Any other move like, okay, bishop to d2, idea is like queen g3 or queen h3 checkmate. Well, now king to h5. Queen h3 check, bishop to h4. And white does not have a mating mates with g4 because of this bishop. g4 is not possible. If something like king g1, idea is to play bishop d2 and all of that, that would be too slow, as now simply king h5. And next move, he's just going to play bishop h4, g5, and get the king away. And if c4, well, then bishop takes g2 check is fine. King takes g2, queen a8 check, king g1, queen to e4, queen d1 check, king to h4, and black is way better because he is a complete rook up and white does not have anything at his disposal. So queen d3, threatening queen takes g6 and queen d1. Now any move like king to h5 will be met by queen d1, king h4 and rook f3. And now rook h3 is threatened if he takes on f3 with the bishop. Then now queen takes f3 and queen h3 cannot be stopped. If rook to g8, well, now queen d1 check, king to h4 and rook to f3 again, same idea. And if rook to g7, defending this g6 pawn, now not queen d1, queen e2, king h4 and h3. Idea, queen g4 checkmate. Queen d7 and king to h2. g3 is unstoppable and white wins the game. So bishop takes g2 was tried, a desperado from black, but after king takes g2, queen a8 check, king g1, bishop g5, queen e2 check, and this is almost mate. After king to h4, because king h4 is the only move, as king h3 can be met by rook f3 check, Queen takes f3, queen takes f3, king h4 and bishop f2 checkmate. King to h4, bishop f3 check, king to h3. And my final question to you. How should white continue? Black is in bare trouble as his king has gone to h3, but how should he mate? How should white mate? White to play, find the winning move, and pause the video if you need to. Here, bishop to e1. Brilliant move. Why? Why not any other move? Well, something like rook d1 idea, rook d3 would be very bad, queen g2, and it's black who's checkmating white and not white who's checkmating black. You have to keep that in mind. Something like queen d3 check can be met by king g4, queen g3, king to f5, queen h3, king f6, and as you can see, the king is coming back. Bishop to h4 check, king to g7, bishop takes g5, queen a7 check, king h1, queen b7, king g1, and slowly black is in exchange up and he will win the game. So here, that's why bishop e1. The king cannot be allowed to escape. But this is just your prophylaxis move, just stopping any ideas with queen g2. Very nice. And Wei Yi found this. Marvelous. Bishop to f4, queen d3 check, king g4, queen takes g6 check, bishop g5, h3, king takes h3, and now queen to f5, checkmate. And if you want to see the king's journey, it's gone long castle, gone to f7, gone to e6, gone to d5, gone to e4, gone to d4, gone to e4 again, gone to f4, gone to g4, gone to h4, gone to h3, and finally it has gone and lost the game. This is the 40th move, and black king has moved at least 12 times. Simply marvelous. So yes, that was Wei Yi's game against Bruzon Batista Lazaro. An engine-like thinking from Wei Yi and calculation as he won this game in style against Bruzon. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Bye.